What's going on, guys? Plastic Beach X3 back here with another One Piece video, and this time we're going to be doing a commentary video over the top 8 feature match at the TAC Games Auckland, New Zealand regional. So this is going to be the top 8 feature match. We're going to have Daniel on the 3D2Y Luffy deck, the new black deck that has taken the community by storm, and Johan on the Jewelry Bonney deck. This is, of course, OP08 format. It's the first regionals that occurred in the OP08 format. Very interesting to see how the Luffy deck has changed. It was a very new deck towards the end of 07, after the Italian players topped, a bunch of them topped with the strategy in 07.5. So it's interesting to see how Daniel innovated the list to fit 08. And we're going to take a look at the list in a minute. And then, of course, Johan on the just always good Bonney deck. You always see at least one of them top every big tournament. Very good deck. Struggles into black, unfortunately. And specifically more Lucci than anything. And now that black-yellow is teching for it, I think it becomes a little worse of a deck. But let's see the list and see how these two players are innovating for the format. So we're going to look at Daniel's top 8 list here with the 3D2Y Luffy. Of course, on the 3 Brook, one of the best cards in the deck. So just straight off here, I see he's not on the stage at all. So that to me makes Brook a little less good, but of course, I don't think you play it really just for the Straw Hat tag. And the fact that it could be a 5 cost, you probably just play it for the effect. Is always good. Playing off Rebecca and whatnot. So on the 4 Brook, the 4 T-Bone, the 4 Kuzan, I think that's decently standard. 4 Suru, 4 Gecko, 4 Rebecca. I think 3 Sabo is pretty standard. 2 Isho, 3 of the Nico Robin, which I thought people would start cutting this card, but I was wrong. Very strong card. And then the 4 brand new, only 2 of the Sanji. So he cut down on a Sanji from the Italian players lists. Interesting. He's on the 2 Borsellino now. Can't think of what would prompt this change. Maybe because Lucci is just one of the best decks now. And also black-yellow can't pop it, so there's that. 2 Tashigi. I love the 4 Ice Age. I always thought that this deck should definitely mandatory be on 4 Ice Age, whereas a lot of people weren't playing it with 3. It's just the deck doesn't have enough minus like Lucci does to be able to efficiently or reliably kill stuff every single turn. So the 4 Ice Age I feel like is pretty necessary, and I think that's probably why Robin is also necessary along with the Kuzan. And then I guess the only OP08 card in the deck, the obligatory 4 Jack busted card, of course. And even more busted in this deck because it's not only 11, it's a 12k, or it's a 12 cost character for the Lucci matchup, so that's pretty cool. Obviously cut the Sabos that the deck was playing in favor of the Jacks, and Jacks also probably just pretty good into black-yellow because it's an 8k, so it can swing for 9 pretty easily. Very interesting list. Let's go into the Johan's Bonney list here. So we're only seeing 1 searcher, so this list is wild, straight up. We're seeing 1 searcher, the Bonney searcher with the Cavendish, split 3s of the Apus, fair. Only 2 Kid, which I think is fair. I did watch his deck profile, and he said that he would probably cut Kid for like a 3rd Dofi and a 3rd Corazon, or a 3rd Zoro. So just keep that in mind, I guess. Kid with the Basil, Urog, and he's on the Corazon package, of course, but no Baby 5 Searcher, which is fair. Only 2 tin drop. I think that's also fair. You don't want to brick too much, and then only 2 Zoros, so just split 2s across the board of the high-end cards. Very interesting. A way to approach the deck. It just kind of builds off of its versatility, the ceiling factor of this strategy. And he's on the Corazon, so his targets are the new Carrot, of course. When attacking on play, freeze a 7 or less. Very strong card. I'm excited to see how it plays out in this game. 2 of the Luffy, which is wild. I just can't say I would ever bring this card to a tournament, but yeah, I mean, it's a crazy card for what it does. It's only, I feel like, really only there for the black matchup, but it might just be, you know, that might just be good enough to include it because the black matchup is so bad. And then the Cavendish, of course. We're on the 4 Ezo and a 4 Hody, of course. Hody, one of the most busted cards. On the 4 Rosinante, so I wonder if he would ever cut this card if he cut the kid. Something to consider just because, you know, you can always like swing with Zoro, play this, and your Zoro is safe now, which is nice. Yep. And then, of course, the elephant in the room, the one of Strauss Sword. It's an old Supernova card from back in the old kid structure deck that says main rest any character. Rest any character for 2 Dawn. You know, the trigger will never ever come up unless you want to play a Bonney off of it, I guess. But, yeah, pretty crazy. I'm excited to see how it performs for him. I would have never ever thought to have tested this, to be honest. So it's interesting to see. So let's get into the game. It's going to be top 8. It's going to be best 2F3, of course. Not exactly sure who gets to choose the die roll, or, you know, who chooses to go first. Both players taking time here to riffle shuffle the opponent's decks. Fair enough. And Luffy not even going to look at his hand before he before he sets his life. Not even going to decide. So confident in the top 5 cards of his deck that he didn't even need to mulligan. Knew he didn't need to mulligan. But we're going to see Johan mulligan here. Let's see if we can fast forward a little bit. Okay, so it looks like Daniel's going to win the die roll. He's going to choose to go second, I'm assuming. Bonney's going to pass on 1, and Daniel will play the brand new. Didn't exactly see what he searched for there. Suru. So he's going to take the Suru. He has the T-Bone and another Suru, of course, that he could take. So he hits 3 targets. That's nice. As everyone probably knows, the main purpose of Brand New is just to get cards in the trash in this deck because it just doesn't have the mill like Lucci does. So to capitalize off Gecko, you really need to be able to like use Brand New once or twice. Bonney's actually just going to pass on 3, so taking a starve approach here. Very interesting. Daniel's going to swing 7 at life. Johan will tap the brand new and then take the life, no trigger. He's going to play another brand new. Didn't get to see that one either. Another, I think that was, I really didn't see what that was. Might have been another Suru or something. It's going to go to Johan's turn on 5. He's going to be able to play the Cavendish. Now he's going to choose to swing into the brand new. Okay. He's going to put a Dawn under his leader, swing into the brand new. So really focusing on the starve strategy against the Black Luffy deck. Whereas traditionally, you know, just in my head, I would think, oh, wow, 3rd brand new. Going to find a Tashigi this time. In my head, I'm like thinking you want to get them down in life, like relatively fast. Just, you know, because you want to be able to kill them. And it's just that Bonney can't really kill things that well. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong though. He's gonna play the Brook. He's Ice Age Brook, so making full use of the 4 Ice Age in the deck. Gonna be able to kill the Cavendish so that nothing gets out of hand here. Johan just gonna slam a Hawkins and pass. We're gonna see Daniel swing 4 into life, -1 cost to the Hawkins, which will prompt the Bonney leader effect to tap the leader. At this point, Daniel's going to swing with the brand new, not for any damage or anything, but of course to just tap out his board so that he could potentially kill this Hawkins. But of course, the Gecko is going to make that rather difficult if you have a live standing Gecko on the field. But he's not even going to go for any sort of kill turn at all. Interestingly enough, He's actually just going to play Gecko to reanimate the brand new and the Borsalino. He's going to look at top 3 with the brand new and whiff. Very interesting choice to tap out there your characters. I know he's not on, like we know from his list that he's not on the finger pistol or anything, so yeah, kind of weird. I'm sure there's obviously a reason for it. Johan's going to take this opportunity on 9 Dawn to summon the Hody Jones. He's going to tap the Borsalino and the Gecko. Going to use leader to swing 5 into the Brook. Daniel's going to give him a 2k counter. He's then going to swing 8 with the Hody into the Borsalino, and that draws out a kill from the Borsalino. Looks like Johan's pretty insistent on holding up 2 Dawn here. I'm not sure why. Because he could have swung 8 into the Brook. Not like it mattered. I mean, he's going to give it that up no matter what, but they're going to start. Daniel's going to start with a 9 into the Hawkins. Going to be met with a 0-drop event, discarding the 8-drop Kid. Daniel's then going to play a Kuzan, draw a card, play a Sabo, draw 2, trash 2. Giving up the Borsalino and the Brook. Gonna put a Dawn under leader to make it a 6k because you have an 8k on the or 8 drop on the field. And pass turn. So 2 turns go by where Luffy just can't kill one of Bonney's bodies, which is rather detrimental. I feel like because if Black isn't removing their bodies, then like the fact that Black is a bad matchup really, like the whole reason why Black is a bad matchup isn't a thing anymore. He's gonna go 8 into the Sabo, it dies. Then he's gonna go 5 into the Kuzan. He's gonna give him a 2k counter T-Bone. Now thinking about how to allocate the rest of these swings. Got 2 Dawn to play with here. Gonna go 9 into the Gecko. That draws out a 2k counter, and then 7 into the Kuzan, holding up 2 Dawn once again. And once again, I'm just not sure why, but fair enough. He's going to swing 9 into the Hawkins, I believe. That's going to draw out the leader effect to tap the Luffy leader. Then he's going to give up a 2k and a 2k, so going down going up +4. Daniel's then going to play the Rebecca, retrieve the Kuzan, and then play the Kuzan, draw a card, put 2 under leader, make it a 6k leader for the next turn. Pass turn. So I wonder if another Hody Jones might be on the way. That'd be nasty, of course. So if that's not the case, they're going to start 9 into the Gecko. So really taking a starve strategy here, which seems to be working because Luffy only has 4 cards in hand. They do have the 1k counter for the 9k swing. They're going to go 9 again into the Gecko, draw out the Rebecca blocker. And now they're going to go another 9 into the Gecko, and it dies because their hand's bricked up. So now we know that their 3 cards in hand are definitely just bricks. And at this point in time, they're going to play the 5-drop Luffy, just straight up hard play it, and choose not to swing into life. So just continuing the starve strategy. Very interesting. Daniel's going to have to read the Monkey D. Luffy. If you don't know what it says, all of your 3 drops or less on your field cannot be KO'd by effects except for Luffy. Daniel's going to put a Dawn under his leader to boost up to 6k. Actually cannot boost up to 6k. Because he does not have an 8-drop on the field, he lost his Gecko. jack in his hand, we'll of course put that online, but you're going to have to remove the Luffy before you do anything. And if you have to swing with the Kuzan, then your leader just can't swing, which is annoying. Daniel's going to go 5 into life with the Kuzan, going to -4 cost to the Luffy character. That's going to draw out. I keep saying that it's going to draw out. I don't know why. I've literally never said that in my life. Alright, so that's going to get out the leader ability from Johan, and we'll tap the Luffy leader. So looks like no 8-drop is coming down this turn, so putting the Dawn under leader is a little sus. Gonna play the Rebecca into the Brook. And then play a Kuzan, draw a card to hopefully, after, of course the Brook is going to kill the Luffy because it was a 1-cost character from the Kuzan. Yeah, it seems like Black Luffy's just struggling without all the cards in their hand, but I mean, they can, like, Rebecca is just a card that the value is insane, and plus the Kuzans being able to replace themselves on summon. So it's a little harder, I feel like, to starve out this deck than a lot, but it is working for Johan. Finally going to start swinging at life. We're going to go 7 into 5, 8 into 5. They take both. And then we're going to play, we're going to tap 9 for a Basil. Oh, we're not tapping 9. I think that's Corazon blocker to protect his Hody Basil. It's pretty nasty here on Johan's side of the field. Daniel's going to play a Jack to KO this Corazon so that he can actually play the game. Gonna choose to go so we're going 9 into the Hawkins here with leader. Gonna use the Bonney ability to tap the Rebecca and let the Hawkins go. I think Johan is pretty low on cards himself, but he's going to start 5 into the Rebecca. Probably going to see a 8 swing into this Jack or something like that. Okay, actually going to go 11 into the Jack. It dies. Interesting number to swing with it. Then they're going to go 7, 8, take it both, go down to 1 life, and then play a third Hawkins. Yeah, pretty broken. Obviously, Hawkins being one of the best cards in the matchup. Pretty nasty to see 3 and Hody. Like, the dream hand of Bonney into black is always like, is literally triple Basil, double Hody. Like, that's the dream. And Johan just had it, which is really nice. Daniel's going to think about this for a while. It's just not looking good for him, honestly. He's going to go 10 into the Hawkins, holding up a 6 Dawn here. I can only... Okay, so Ice Age, the Hody, and then Sanji, the Hody, okay? So the Hody's dead. Yeah, Sanji kills a 5-drop or less if you have a 6k character, or 6-cost character on the field, including itself, and with leader ability it is 6 cost. Johan with 3 cards in hand, potentially just wins this turn, going for life. We know he's low on that. Daniel's low on counters simply because like we were able to pick apart his hand earlier. So it's just a matter of Dawn math here. Gonna start 9 at life with the Hody. That'll go, and then 16 at life with the Hawkins, and that'll of course go as well. Gonna go into game 2. Just an unfortunate game for Daniel, I would say. It's really hard for Black, whether it's Lucci or Black Luffy, to beat triple Hawkins, double Hody. Not to make any excuses, not like Johan is a bad player or anything. Like, obviously he's an insane player. It's just nasty to have that combo, and also he drew the 5-drop Luffy. So the 5-drop Luffy, I'm not sure how much it helped, but I'm just because I didn't know that I can't see the hands and stuff. But it seems like he had to waste removal on that, at least that turn. So if he could have targeted something else, he probably would have maybe gained some tempo towards the end, but I'm not sure just how much it actually helped him out. I'm going to try and fast forward here. The video keeps skipping. So Daniel's going to choose second once again. This time Johan will have the Bonney character for turn 1. Pass turn. Johan's going to immediately pass, no brand new this time, but Bonney will tap the Bonney character, look at top 5 for a supernova. Going to grab the 2K 1 cost Apu. And going to end up passing turn there. Once again, not swing into life early. That's going to be met with a Kuzan on Daniel's forward on turn. Draw a card, pass turn. Very nice setup. Johan's going to play this Urog and pass turn, using its ability at the end of the turn to gain an active Dawn. Daniel will just put 1 Dawn under his leader. Tap 5 for the Sanji to kill the Urog, because now the Sanji is a 6-cost character, and then choose the pass, obviously, to try and avoid his Kuzan being tapped, to avoid a swing into it. But that's going to be immediately met by a Hody on curve, which is just nasty. Gonna swing 5 into the Kuzan, get a card out of hand, and then get 8 into the Kuzan to kill it. Very disgusting, especially since Daniel decided not to swing last turn, which probably is the correct play regardless. Gonna go 5 at life. No leader effect is live this turn because they had to play the Hody on 7. So they can actually swing with both characters this turn. Gonna get a 2K counter out of hand, and then he's gonna play the Isho. I guess he had 7 cards in hand, so now he's down to 6. Yep. Going to roll for the 2, gonna hit another Scratchman Apu and the 8-drop Kid, which probably isn't that big of a deal for Johan, honestly. Not meaningless, of course, they're 2 cards. 2 cards is 2 cards, but I would say not the worst hits of all time. I also just don't know his hand, but I'm assuming like we're high valuing like Basil, Cavendish, cards like Dofi over the Kid right now. He's going to go 5 into life. That's going to draw to 2K, 8 into life. Take it. So interestingly enough, going to start swinging once the Isho hits the field. And then going to play a Hawkins into a Corazon blocker, pass turn. Very interesting. Choosing to starve them out until the 9 Dawn turn. I'm assuming just Isho is the biggest factor in that decision, because now you're on kind of like a little bit, even a little bit, but a clock for sure. Daniel's going to immediately play the Gecko Moria, summon back to Suru and the Brook. Suru is going to -2 cost to the Corazon. Brook's going to kill the Corazon. He's going to go 10 into the Hody Jones. Force out 2 cards here, or let the Hody Jones die. And I just don't think that Johan can afford that. And then he's going to go... he must have went, what, 7? I couldn't tell if he dropped 4 cards that turn, like he went 10 into Hody and then 7 into life, and he dropped 4 cards, or if that 7 was directed into the Hody. I have to assume it's directed into the Hody by the leader swing 7, just to keep cards out of Johan's hand, I guess. Interesting. So yeah, it looks kind of cooked for Johan. But he does have 4 life, and he's just going to play this Zoro. He's probably not dead next turn by any means. He's going to have leader ability, Hawkins 4 life. So the opponent's going to have to remove this Zoro somehow. Daniel's going to put 1 under Isho and then Ice Age the Zoro, which is a pretty good way of outing it, because now it's a 1 cost, and he just has to swing with the Brook, kill it. And that's going to prompt Johan to just scoop it on up, actually. So as you can see, the main difference between that game and last game is that the Isho, big difference. Funny enough, Daniel just didn't have any brand news. He just had Kuzan on curve, which was a pretty big difference maker. I think, even though the Kuzan didn't really come up, I guess, because of the Hody. But the fact that he had to force Johan to play the Hody on 7 rather than on 9, I think made a big difference. For sure. I don't know. I think the Isho really was really good, because I mean, even in that game, Johan had Hawkins Hody, so he just didn't have triple Hawkins, double Hody. And his only play was to play that 9-drop Zoro, and as soon as it was outable, it was kind of just wraps up from there. The opponent's going to be able to spam blockers, stay at 1 life forever, whereas just going to start chipping down the Bonney. And also, Johan decided to swing earlier than he did in game 1, which I thought was interesting. Of course, like I said, the Isho was on the field, so it does make that big of a difference. It does make a pretty big difference between game 1 and 2. So maybe he just felt like he had to start swinging at life. I did see that there was a straw sword in Johan's hand pre-mulligan. Pretty interesting. It's probably one of those cards you just want to see late game, I'm assuming, or maybe early game against like a Kuzan or something, like on turn or Dawn 5, you know. Okay, so Johan's finally going to be able to choose who goes first. He's going to choose to go second. Both players are going to pass on their first turns. Daniel will swing a 6k into leader. On turn Dawn 3, Johan will take that life and then play a brand new, take an Ice Age. Very good card in the matchup, of course. Johan's actually going to pivot strategies here and just start going face, which is pretty interesting. Maybe he did that game 1 and 2 because he had Hody? Maybe. And like Hody's just better if you can starve them out in the early game. I can't imagine another reason why you would do that and like just choose not to swing games 1 and 2 and then decide to swing game 3. But Daniel will swing 6. That's going to get the brand new tapped counter out with an Apu. And then going to play Ice Age into Brook once again to KO the Urog this time. Johan going to 6 Dawn. Going to start 5 into life. Daniel will take that. Going down to 3 life, and then just on curve play a Basil Hawkins with no leader effect. Daniel 7 Dawn turn. He's going to tap 1 for almost let go of that Ice Age. But if he Ice Ages, I mean, it will kill the Hawkins. Like, Ice Age or Brook does kill the Hawkins here. Assuming that you swing with the brand new and the Luffy first. Well, Ice Age the Hawkins. Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm wondering, like, can you just swing with the Brook? Kill the Hawkins, like swing Luffy, brand new Brook, and like kill the Hawkins? Maybe he just didn't want the... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly. But the Sanji gets him there regardless. And like just looking at his hand, I can barely see it. That otherwise he probably wasn't doing much this turn. I mean, actually, I feel like if you just go Luffy 5, brand new 5, Ice Age, Brook, you know, make it a 1-drop and then Brook, make it a 0-drop and then KO it. Then you could play, you'd have enough Dawn to play the Robin in your hand rather than the Sanji. But maybe I'm missing something. I maybe probably am. Johan's just going to have to play this Hody, swing 5-8, get 1 life out of Daniel, and then pass turn with 1 Dawn standing. We see that they've already used 2 Ice Ages in their trash, so... not highly likely that they have the 3rd for the Hody. Daniel will tap 7 for a Jack here. And then gonna go 7 at life so that he can get his leader ability. So that's why you play the Jack first, of course. Johan's gonna tap probably the Sanji. Yep. So he only has to take a 5 swing rather than a 7 after the 7k with the Luffy. And it's interesting here to see if they want to tap the Brook. If they do, they want to just get the clean 5 off. And that'll get a Cavendish 1k counter, pass turn. Not looking the greatest for Johan, but of course, like, just a 10-drop Dofi will do wonders. So he's gonna go 5, 8, the 5 into the Brook dies, and then 8 into life. That's gonna get 2k counters. And he's actually gonna play the Kid, summon the Corazon, hold up a Dawn, pass turn, very powerful. This Jack will have to tap itself to kill the Corazon, of course. Which isn't the biggest deal, it's just that you don't get your biggest monster on the field to swing. But you will be able to cycle a card, discard a Jack, KO the Corazon blocker. Put 1 under leader. Tap 4 for Rebecca. Add back the T-Bone. And tap 5 for a Sabo. So you're just going Sabo, Rebecca in this spot. Trying to draw into an Ice Age or something, and we see that they do draw into the Ice Age. So hopefully if they don't have a Corazon next turn or like a Dofi to stun the Jack, then you can Ice Age Jack, kill the Kid that way. Johan puts 7 Dawn off to the side, so that's kind of scary. Could be a Hody. And if it is Hody, you could go 7, 8, 8, 9 or something. Which probably wouldn't get there, to be honest. Because the leader is 6k. Gonna go Bonney into life, 6k into 6, going to draw out the 1k counter, and then gonna go 8 into life, block with the Rebecca, and then 10 into life, block with the Sabo, and then play the Basil Hawkins, hold up a Dawn, pass turn. So of course the Ice Age is going to be able to -5 cost to the kid. That means Jack will be able to kill the kid, draw one, trashing a Suru. And now maybe Daniel can potentially start taking over this game again, but it is looking a little bleak now that Hawkins is on board. Going to go a fat 10 into the Hody, and they do have the 2k 1k to save it. Gonna be able to tap the Sanji in the process, and then he just has to pile 5 Dawn under the brand new and swing 7 into life. Or no, not 7, but 8 into life. Interesting. How many? I wonder how many cards. I can't really tell how many cards Johan has, but you potentially just swing that into the Hody if we put them on no counter. But I mean, eventually you do have to start putting them down in life so that you can actually kill them. Unfortunately, that no Isho was able to be played this game. I think he just drew it a little too late. It's gonna make him block 2k counter so that he doesn't go down to 1 life. Just in case he can't kill him this turn. Which I'm not sure if he can, to be honest. He's gonna go 8 into 6. He'll take it. Gonna go 8 into life with the Bonney, holding up a fat 7. That's gonna draw out 2 2Ks from Daniel. So he's not killing him this turn unless he thinks 7-8 Hody's gonna get him there. So you probably just don't even swing with the Hawkins if you're just trying to live. You're gonna tap 5 for a Cavendish and then gain 2 Dawn back, and then potentially play an Urog. Maybe. No, actually going to swing big into the Sanji. Pass turn. Alright, so he's actually going to choose the tap as blocker, which is very interesting. But to be fair, there's no possible way that Daniel can actually kill Johan in this spot, so it's very safe to tap the blocker and just ensure a kill on the Sanji. Daniel will tap 8 for a Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria effect, summon back to Rebecca. In the Suru, it looks like Suru is going to be able to target the Cavendish, make it a 3-drop. Rebecca effect, add back the Tashigi, and then once the chain resolves, Jack to kill the Cavendish, draw 1, discard 1. Not going to swing, so that he can't tap the Rebecca, I'm assuming. Not even going to put a Dawn under his leader either. Which just can't be right. I don't know. So go 7 into 5. Take it, and that's just game because of that Hody Jones. And Johan's going to take it. So, I don't really think that misplay at the end by not putting the Dawn leader really mattered that much. I think he only really had 2 2Ks in hand. But I think just having the, once again, Basil double Hody, nasty combination against the black decks. So yeah, very well played by both players, both very skillful players. Johan just happened to, you know, open pretty cracked 3 games in a row with the Hody Basils. You know, the 2 games he won, he had multiple Hodys or multiple Basils. The first one obviously had multiple of both. The last one he had multiple of the Hodys. In the game 2 he only had 1 Hody, 1 Basil, and that's the one he lost. Yeah, pretty well done. Let's go into the list one more time before we get out of this video. Yeah, so we didn't really see this Luffy did come up. I'm not sure how, like I said, I don't know really how good it was or what it really did on the field over something like a Bonney or something. But it did draw at least 1 KO, and I'm sure it definitely comes up against the Lucci decks. And I've played this card in the past on the sim. It's just very ballsy to take it to a turn, I feel like, because you're really hoping that you're going to play against a lot of Luccis. And the carrot never came up. Probably just not going to ever come up in this matchup because they can manipulate their costs, and she relies on costs. So fair enough. No Dofi. Kid was pretty good. Was very, very good. It stunned Daniel from... like essentially stunned him for a turn because he had to set up to kill it. And then actually had to kill it the next turn, so that stunned him for 2 turns, and it just put the tempo back in Johan's favor, so it got him there. So very interesting that he said he would cut that card for something like these 2 when those didn't even come up. But hey, I'm sure, you know, 1 game isn't a data set or anything. It's just 1 game. And then we'll go into Daniel's list, his top 8 list. Congratulations to both players. Very well done. Yeah, not much else to say besides very cool. Maybe a couple misplays, but I really think he should have summoned, or that they should have summoned the Robin instead of that Sanji. But I could just be missing something of why that wasn't done. And then obviously that last turn, he didn't put the Dawn on the leader, but I don't think that mattered anyway. I think it was game. If he had Hody as Hody, you know, one of those situations. But very cool. Congrats. Either way, GG's to all those guys. Make sure to subscribe to Plastic BTX3 for more One Piece videos, and peace out.